Hey guys, come on in. Good afternoon. How are you? Hey Amy. Hey Damaris, how are you? Good morning. Come on in, guys. If you can share the video, that'd be great. So we can have this discussion because I think a lot of you are really confused about how this tax thing works. And based on what rap artist Cardi B said the other day, I can tell that she's not the only one. Many of you are confused. She's confused. Basically, everybody's confused. Everybody's confused. So with that being said, let's have a discussion. Please share the video with your friends, your family. Come on in. Let's have a discussion, and hopefully I can clear up some of that confusion throughout the process of this live stream. So guys, if you're new to my live streams, press 1 so I can introduce myself to you and so I can get to know you a little bit. So press 1 if you're new. But if you're not new, you know, I'm Folasade, the accountant to entrepreneurs. I help entrepreneurs basically dominate their businesses and get control of their money, guys, by incorporating and using accounting. So accounting is used by the best of the best. All of your mentors, all of the people that you aspire to be, use accounting to really level up. And the ones that aren't using accounting, you can tell because you get comments online about, oh, tax is too much, oh, I'm getting screwed, oh, I've been jailed, oh, my bank account have been garnished, oh, right, guys? And I don't want you to be in that situation too when you're like, oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. So that's why I come on consistently. But for today's live stream, hey Charlize, how are you? Today's live stream is strictly around removing some of that confusion that a lot of you have. So we're going to talk about 5 ways Cardi B and entrepreneurs are confused about taxes, guys. So please share the video and we're about to rock it out. I forgot my tea and everything. That's why I went upstairs. Yeah, forgot my tea. But it's cool. So you guys ready for number 1? If you're ready for number 1, go ahead on and put number 1 in the chat. Hey, Randy, how are you? Put number 1 in the chat, guys, if you're ready for number 1 way Cardi B and entrepreneurs are confused about taxes. So, yeah. All right, I'm excited, guys. So, all right, so number 1 way that entrepreneurs and celebrities and people, just the general public, is confused is because you guys have heard so much hoopla from different professionals say, oh, the tax system is screwed up. You're not supposed to be paying taxes. It's against the Constitution. You know, if you've heard this before, press 1 for me. If you've heard that, oh, it's against the law for you to be paying taxes. If you just submit a blank tax return, you'll be fine. If you've heard any of those things, press 1. Oh my goodness, I'm not supposed to be paying taxes. We're getting ripped off because the government is this and the government is that, and just so much mess. So that is one way so many entrepreneurs are confused about taxes, is because you've heard so much stuff on the internet, YouTube. And I remember one lady, I think her name is Sherry Jackson. She was an ex-IRS representative, and she was publicly saying that as well, that you're not supposed to be paying taxes and all of this mess. But guys, to stay with the law, to stay, you know, in compliance, to stay on top of things, regardless if it's true or regardless if it's not true, I'm not going to confirm or deny that. But you just need to stay focused and just focus on what taxes you have to pay, because all of us as U.S. citizens are required to pay income on all income derived, regardless if it's out of country income. So even though if you plan on moving to Mexico next year or something like that for the rest of your life, you will still be required and obligated to pay United States taxes, guys. That is just how things just work. So many of you are confused because of so much mess that's going on and what's always said about taxes. And I can fully understand that if I were you, I would be just as confused as well. So if you've been confused about whether or not it's true or not, regardless if it's true or regardless if it's false, you are still required to pay taxes. Now, what distinguishes what you pay depends on, one, your accountant, and two, your compliance with your accountant. So let me give you an example, and then that's going to go right into, well, that's number 3. So I'm not even going to give you guys that example yet. But you guys are supposed to be focused on making the money. You are supposed to be hiring the best accountant in the business that is out there so they can now minimize any tax burden that you have. And so many people suffer from that problem strictly because, guess what? They don't have an accountant really hands-on that is watching their money and coming up with strategies that their client can benefit from. So if you are an entrepreneur and you know you're going to be making decent money, and that's actually only $50,000 in the entrepreneur realm. I'm gonna be honest with you. The moment you guys start to strike it and you start to make 50,000, 60, 70,000, and you begin to make a profit in your business, you're going to end up owing taxes anyway. So guys, don't be falling in the trap with all of these accusations and assumptions and on whether or not the tax system is legit. But just be concerned that you must pay taxes, and you just must hire the right person to help you with your taxes. And if you're interested in having me be that right person, go to bit.ly/quick tax chat. Get on my calendar because, like I said, if you're an entrepreneur and you make over $40,000 and you are starting a profit in your business, you're going to begin to owe at that time. So your strategies are going to change, and you have to have the right person on deck to help you at that time. Hey, Monica. Hey, Camille. Guys, if you can share the video, that'd be great. So we're going to go into number 2, guys. If you're ready for number 2, put number 2 in the chat. So if you're new to what we're talking about 5 ways Cardi B and entrepreneurs are confused about taxes. So if you don't know who Cardi B is, she is an American female rap artist. She's dominating the industry right now. She's coming in and she's pulling wigs and slashing necks. Okay, so she's coming in the game, killing it, and she's extremely boisterous. And she ended up the other day on her Instagram page basically rambling about where the tax money come from. IRS, Uncle Sam, I'm tired of you. What do you use my money for? But she compared the tax system to when she give donations to a foreign child in another country. And she basically saying, well, that foreign child give me a list of this of what they spent the money on. And she's requesting from the IRS, hey, great girl, she's requesting from the IRS and from the government to basically say, what the hell are you guys doing with her money? And I can understand that. However, if she had the right person on her team, those concerns and those things may not come out publicly like that in that particular setting. And then in addition to that, many of you will be suffering from this same problem as an entrepreneur, simply because the moment your business becomes profitable, you're going to now end up owing some form of debt. So guys, please share the video. So number 1, we just basically discussed whether or not the tax system is legit, or if not. And I don't want you guys to be too concerned on whether or not the system is legit. Don't get yourself arrested. You're not going to get me arrested, okay? But what I want you to be concerned about is you making sure you pay what you are supposed to be paying, and actually only what you're supposed to be paying. And by doing so is hiring the best team. So guys, we're going into number two. So 5 ways people are confused, and Cardi B may be confused too about this, is there's a difference between your federal taxes and your state taxes. I'm going to say that again. It's a difference between your federal taxes and your state taxes. They are totally two separate things. But guess what I hear so much all the time? Why am I paying all of these taxes? Why am I paying all of these taxes? Why? But first off, people don't understand that there are 2 different type of taxes that you're paying. You're paying your federal taxes and you're also paying your state taxes. Unless you live in one of the states that don't have an income tax, then you good. But me over here in Maryland, we got an income tax. DC income tax, VA income tax, you know. So if you don't have a state income tax, then you will be only paying federal taxes. But if you live in a state like myself, I'm paying double taxes, federal taxes and state taxes. So when you guys start to get your tax bills, you have to look at these as totally 2 separate situations. And the reason being is because the state gives you different credits and different deductions and different earned income tax credit and just so many different credits and exemption amounts that the federal may have or may not have, but is a different amount. So for example, the state of Maryland exemption, personal exemption amount is $3,200. Okay. So with that being said, $3,200 is deducted from my total taxes, deducted from my total income, right? Before they calculate my tax. Okay, so many of you are confused when it comes down to this tax thing because there's a total difference between state taxes and federal taxes, okay? And so when you're paying your taxes, you have to be concerned about both. And your accountant needs to be telling you different strategies for both, okay? So for example, on the federal level, they have the student loan deduction. If your state did not implement their own student loan deduction, you may not get a deduction or student loan credit, you know, on the state level. So guys, there's totally 2 different things. And then also on the federal level, you guys get to deduct your state taxes that you paid. And I see so many entrepreneurs, when you work with professionals or when you work by yourself and you don't know what you're doing, you miss out on things like that, little deductions like that, that you need to be well aware of, okay, when you're filing your taxes. So guys, that's number 2. There's a difference between federal and state taxes. Stop confusing them both. They're totally 2 different amounts. They're totally 2 different levels. The money goes to totally 2 different departments. Federal taxes go to take care of federal expenses and federal bills. State taxes goes to that state. So when you guys are sitting there mad and pissed off, think about the logic. The federal taxes you pay go to federal grants, federal funding, okay? And the state stuff, the state taxes go to your state. You know what I mean? Many of your states are struggling right now. They're in debt and they want to really increase the state taxes, but they don't, or they haven't, or they will. But that's on a whole nother live stream in itself. But in the midst, when you're sitting there thinking about taxes, guys, you have to understand that there's totally 2 different situations. They're federal and state taxes, guys. If you're ready for number 3, put number 3 in the chat, guys. Okay, so I see the number 3s coming. All right, guys. So number 3, guys, you have to have the business structure that benefits you. And this is one of the biggest mistakes I see artists make, celebrities make, you make as entrepreneurs. You guys don't have the right entity structure for your business, okay? So with that being said, some of you are operating as a single member LLC, when guess what? You may need to be structured in a whole different manner. Also, you definitely need to, one, make sure that that entity is reviewed as your income and as your status and as your business grows. I see so many entrepreneurs, and I see the celebrities doing it too, where first off, the celebrities are screwing up because they don't really have legitimate entities set up. Like some celebrities don't even have businesses set up at all. And that's a mistake that I've been seeing. But you as entrepreneurs, you have the business structures already set up, but you guys don't have the right structure that benefits you. Or what's happening is, as your business is growing, you aren't reevaluating whether or not that business entity works for you at that phase in your business. You should not be having the same business structure talking about you a sole proprietorship, okay, and you're making over $100,000 a year. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You should not be at a certain level in income, let's say $200 and something thousand or $150,000 in income, and you still are only a partnership or only a LLC or whatever the case may be, a single member LLC. Every phase of your business life, you have to reevaluate whether or not that foundation is strong to achieve your goals. And I see so many entrepreneurs never do this. You guys start out from the beginning as the sole proprietorship and you never convert over to the LLC. You never convert over to the corporation. You never convert over to the partnership or whatever the case may be that benefits you. You never do it. And what happens is, as your business is growing, you're not maximizing your tax situation. So for you to avoid screaming online, talking about where the hell my money going and, you know, and all of that stuff like she did, you guys have to connect with the right person to know that every phase of your business life is taken advantage. I mean, it's taken care of, and you have different levels to this. But guess what's happening, guys? We are winging things. So if you are winging your business, this type of stuff is going to hurt you in the long run. So you have to have the right team and people in place to advise you the right way, guys, when it comes to whether or not your business is structured the right way, whether or not this benefits you, whether or not this, and that. But what I'm seeing out there in the streets, that's not the case. Like, please, guys, guess what? You can't play big, but your back end, your accounting and all that stuff is operating on a very minimum level. You cannot do that. You cannot say, oh, Folasade, I've been in business for 10 years and you're making 10 times more and you're still structured and set up the same way. So guys, that goes into number 4 of 5 ways entrepreneurs are confused about taxes. One, that's number 3, which was your business structure. That's where businesses and the rich and all the people that you guys say don't pay taxes and don't do all of that, that's what they do. They evaluate their business entity structures to make sure that they are set up in the right way to take advantage of every benefit. So let me give you an example. A few clients of mine that are structured in a right way this year, we went over the Trump tax plan, the impact of it, and I told him, I said, we're in good shape because guess what? We're going to be able to take advantage of the 20% reduction in business income that carries forward over to his personal taxes. He normally have $400,000 to $500,000 to $800,000 in income that rolls over to his personal taxes. So with that being said, you have to evaluate the business structure. So guys, you ready for number 4? Many of you do not operate your business as if it is a corporation. Not saying it's a Inc. where I'm telling you to go and structure your business as a corporation. Hey, Realtor Antoinette, how are you, love? Not to say go and structure your business as a corporation. What I'm saying is you're not running your business like it's a corporation. Thank you for sharing the video, love. I really appreciate you. You're not structuring your business as a corporation, meaning you don't have the contracts, you don't have the policies, you don't have the procedures, you don't have the accountable plans. You guys are not using your accountant if you have one. If you don't have one, you need to have one. So get on my calendar, guys. If you're not using your accountant to the best of their capacity, unless you have somebody that don't know what they're doing, when you get to a certain level, there are levels to things. When you make beyond $100,000 in your business, we have to now, not to use the word creative accounting because I hate to say this, but we have to be so strategic with everything that we do. It's not a game, and we need you guys to comply with it. You understand? So it's no reason why you're going to say you have this business structure, right? And then you don't have the policies, the procedures, and the agreements in place. So for example, today I'm going to be shooting an email to a client of mine, right? To make sure that they have their agreement in place, because guess what? I cannot take certain tax deductions for them without that agreement being in place. Okay, so you guys, you have the partnerships, you have the LLCs, you have all of this stuff, but you don't have the agreements in place. And so what happens is when it comes down to taxes, we are limited on what we can do because you didn't go and set up the policies. Okay, so let me give you an example. I have one client of mine, she's making really a lot of money. So with that being said, we have to now put in policies that will benefit the business, her, reduce her taxes, and all of that in place. So by the time she make her money, she won't be given 50% of her income in taxes. She won't be given 40% in income in her taxes. She won't be given 30% or 25%. You understand? So guys, when you get to a certain level, that's even right around the corner for many of you. $100,000, you need policies in place. Thank you, Rose Antoinette. Thank you so much, love. You need policies in place. If you're thinking about making millions of dollars, you need policies on policies and strategy on strategy, you know? Hey, Nora, how are you? You need that, guys. You cannot walk these business streets or this entertainment street and don't know that you need policies in place to protect you from taxes. So let me be honest with you guys. Let's put this in perspective. You need policies. That means contracts and agreements within your organization to protect you from taxes. You have to. Now, how you go about that is what you got to do and figure out if you hire the right professional or you get on my books. But guys, you have to know that there's level to this. Hey, Monica, how are you? There's level to this, and it's a requirement for you to make sure that you get those things in order that's necessary to reduce your taxes. Hey, Sharonda, how are you? Okay, guys, so are you ready for number 5? So let me just do a brief recap really quick for everybody that's new. First things first, I don't even need you guys to focus on whether or not the tax system is legit or not. Don't get yourself arrested, right? Okay, just pay the tax, but have a professional so they can protect you. 2, there's a difference between federal and state taxes. There's different, okay? She had Cardi B, and this is so funny that and I thought about this. I'm glad I did the recap. But she had mentioned, she was like, the streets of New York is dirty and all of this stuff. Uncle Sam, give me my money back. So Uncle Sam is referred to as Internal Revenue Services, the federal tax system, not New York state taxes. So when she mentioned, oh, the streets are dirty, there are rats everywhere and all of that stuff, that is a problem she needs to have with her state taxes and figure out, okay, all right, New York, your taxes are really effing high, which they are. New York taxes are ridiculous. Your taxes are really high. How come we have rodents? How come we have this? How come we have that? Talk to her lobbyists in the state, talk to her constituents in the state, and then get that resolved, okay? But there's totally 2 different things, guys, between federal and state. So if your community looking janky and you know you paying a lot of money in taxes, that's why you go to your constituents. That's why you go to your people and make sure that what you desire for your community is heard. And you go to your lobbyists and your, everybody that represents your district, your county, or your state. But that's a state problem. IRS, federal taxes are not used to clean the streets of New York. They're not used to clean the streets of Maryland. They're not used to do that. Now, yes, some federal money goes to the public school system and all of that stuff, but they don't clean the streets, okay? So that's totally two different situations. So on to, on to 3. You guys are artists, you guys are creative, you guys are business people, you are entrepreneurs, but you don't have your business structured at the rate that for it to benefit you guys. I see this so much. So many of you just jump right onto LegalZoom or go right to your state to register your business, right? But you don't hire a person like me to have a consultation with to say, okay, how will this business entity benefit me in 5 years when I'm making this? How will this business entity hurt me or help me in 5 years? You guys are skipping that stuff. You guys, you're just going to go register businesses because such and such told you to do it, but you didn't ask such and such why and how much was their income. And if you make that same amount plus what your husband is making on his job, what is the impact? You guys are jumping out there blindly, and artists are doing that too. Celebrities are doing this too, or you're getting bad advice that you're just not getting the advice that you definitely need. And having a solid business structure really impacts the way, the amount, and everything about your business, So for example, you have people out here that have partnerships and S corps, but you don't have bookkeeping. That's a requirement. You cannot have those levels of structures without certain things in place. So guys, think about that when you go out and register your business today and tomorrow. Think about the structure and how it will benefit you. And then 4 was you don't have contracts in place. I am tired of seeing this often, and now I have to advise a person on what to put into the contract. And that's my part of the job. But you want to make sure that as your business is growing, you have certain accounting clauses and payroll clauses and stuff in place so it can help you save money on taxes. But guess what's happening, guys? You're forgetting about the little old accountant that can help you save that money. You're out there hustling and working your butt off, sacrificing your time. Sacrificing your time away from your family and doing everything to make that money, but you're not putting the policies and the people and the protection in place to make sure that your business and your wealth is protected. Okay, so that was number 4. Guys, number 5, are you ready for number 5? Go ahead on and put that in the chat, guys. Let me get a sip of water. Yeah, and thank you for everybody that shared the video. I really appreciate it. If you didn't share the video, please share the video. Okay, so number 5. Hey, Robert, how are you? Number 5 ways Cardi B and entrepreneurs are confused about taxes. You guys think this stuff is a game. You guys think it's a game. You think paying taxes is a joke. Like, you probably were getting refunds for so long, you understand? And you don't realize that as a business owner, as an artist, as a celebrity, as an actor, as a professional, as a creative, as all of these different, it comes with much more tax implications than you guys can even perceive, okay? I wish sometimes you can come into these tax groups that I'm a part of. When I look at the questions sometimes, and then I think about, you know what, these people probably think that doing taxes is so easy, that if you guys sell a house, it's easy on how to do the taxes, or if you buy stocks and bonds, it's easy to do the tax return, or if you're an investor, a real estate investor, it's easy for you guys to do the tax return. This stuff is not easy. Do you think that they would have made a code that thick, okay, and made the examination so difficult Okay, the CPA exam is one of the most difficult exams out there. The enroll agents exam is one of the hardest exams out there. Do you think that they would have made those exams so difficult to pass and make the code so hard to read to make it simple? But you guys think it's a joke, because before you were really making decent money, you were probably getting refunds back, or you probably owed $5,000 or $6,000, you know, small money, $7,000, maybe $10,000, maybe $15,000 in taxes, small money, right? Then you start to make the decent money. You don't hire the accountant, you don't hire me, you just out there winging it, and you forgot that OMG, I'm making 100 times more than that, and I am stuck. So now I got to pay these tax bills because I didn't listen, or because I didn't hire for strategy, or they told me the strategy and I didn't do that. I didn't do it. You understand? So like, for example, I have clients that I've been telling the same thing over and over again. Please, you're losing money. Please do this. Please do that. Please do this. Okay. All right. But they don't do it. And then when their refund is lower, when they owing more money, or whatever the situation may be, they're upset. And I just say, well, didn't I remind you? So now what I've been doing, I've been putting those notes in my clients' files. Like, okay, all righty, I told this person to do this and they didn't do it. So when it comes down to next year and I advise you the same thing, I'm going to let you know. You know, I've already told you this several years already, and you haven't made the changes yet to do it. So you know you're going to end up owing more, or whatever the case may be. Guys, it's not a joke. Great Girl said, you are right. I believe this is how the celebrities get into so much trouble with the IRS. Yes, they do. Thank you so much for saying that. Hey, Keith, how are you? They get in so much trouble because they winging it. You guys have to hire the professionals out here that study the tax code and study the loopholes and study what's happening out there so it can benefit you. You cannot play with the same games or the same hoopla or have the same person if you're trying to get to the next level. So let me give you an example. This year has been a year for so many entrepreneurs where they're starting to work with me this year. So they see it's a difference in working with me. I'm not going to rush and prepare your returns to have all of your paperwork. There's a process behind the way that I do things. But it's a reason why. It's because what I noticed is if I conform to the way that you guys need me to conform, I'm not going to be able to save you the money. I'm not going to be able to give you the strategy. I'm not going to be able to advise you in the future. And that's what you guys are not allowing us professionals to do, because you think the IRS is a game. You think that the tax system is a joke, and you think that, oh, yeah, I got such and such, I'm paying such and such, so they'll figure it out. No, you have to be proactive with it. So if you want tax strategies for next year, 2018 tax season, you better get on somebody's tax schedule right now. So after they take their break after tax season, they can provide you strategy and advice. So by the time next year comes, you could benefit from it. Taxes are a beforehand strategy. The only stuff that you can do so last minute is when you have like a Roth IRA, you want to make a last minute contribution, but that may not even be a strategy that works for you depending on the income that you have or the cash that you have sitting in your bank account. See, this is another thing too, guys. When it comes down to taxes, sometimes it takes a little cash to make investments. You've heard Grant Cardone say this several times. He just said recently that he bought another jet to offset his taxes. Now, regardless of what he do, if I agree or I don't agree, sometimes you have to have, yes, Black said, Uncle G, you got to have some of that money to play. So with that being said, if you are an entrepreneur, if you're an artist, if you're a celebrity, if you're looking at this video, take a step back and really ask yourself, do you agree or disagree with what I'm saying, and why? And then think about it. They're making the money and not worrying about anything. That's exactly the thing. And I was about to say that if you're sitting back watching this video, you're probably thinking, oh, I'm making a lot of money, I can pay taxes, I'm not worried about it. Every business on certain levels become cash strapped. And a lot of you that don't make a lot of money right now don't understand what I mean by that. You can have $100 million company, but you got a $50 million tied up. That's in payroll. That's in investments. That's in new launches. That's in all sorts of areas. So what happens is, guys, you don't have that money to pay that large amount when that tax voucher comes printed out on your tax return saying you owe this certain amount of money. So guys, I'm going to do a brief recap and then we're going to rock it out today, guys. Yeah. So, okay, so number one. So number one, guys, and then I'm done after that. I'm getting emails, calls. It seems like all my clients tend to call every time I'm on live stream. You guys, I don't mind, but can you wait until I'm off live stream? I may be able to pick up the phone, or I can look at your email. You know what I mean? It's tax season. Yeah. Okay, so number one, brief recap, guys. Brief recap. Number one, you must pay taxes. Don't worry about what everybody's saying. If it's legal or not, don't worry about that. Don't get yourself in trouble. Just hire the right people to save you the right amount of money. Yeah. Okay. Look, that's always the case, Antoinette. It's always the case. Number two, the difference between federal and state taxes, you guys have to be well aware of that and know what your capabilities are. Do you know that if you don't speak up about things, right? If you don't speak up about things in your state, then they can continue to keep rising your state taxes and don't do anything with it. So I agree with what Cardi B did by blasting it off, but she should have gotten a little bit more informed before she went like that, because she should have been speaking to New York and say, hey, New York, what the, where's my, you know, and everything else. Why the streets bad? We pay this, you know, and I understand New York has a very, very high tax rate. And so I get it, you know. Number three, your business has structures and it's levels to this. You cannot start off a business and you're not making any money as a sole proprietorship, and then you're making $200,000, $300,000 or $50,000 or $100,000, whatever the case may be, and you're still at that same mindset and you're still at that same structure, guys. It's not good. You have to sit with an accountant. Do you guys understand that before LegalZoom was out here, accountants and attorneys were the only people that were registering businesses because it came with a core service that many of you are forgetting, and that's called advisory services, okay? See, when people, real people go into business and want to be successful, they go and hire people to advise them on all of that stuff. But a lot of you are missing out on that, or you feel like you're not at that level. When I'm going to be honest with you, you have to prepare to be at that level. Every person that I've heard of that make hundreds of millions of dollars, the only thing I hear consistently about them, it was kind of pre-planned. They worked towards it, wrote it down, and they planned it. They figured out how much it was going to cost them to do this, how much it was going to cost them to do that. They made a plan to make that money so they can achieve that goal. All right. And you guys have to definitely do the same thing. And then number four, you don't have the contracts in place to really back you up. You don't really have the guys, look at me reading emails and stuff again. You don't have the contracts in place to really protect your business. And there's so much different plans. And I'm not talking about basic plans. I'm talking about different things like accountable plans and all of this stuff that the average accountant may not know about, but you got to hire the right one that knows about that stuff to give you the knowledge that you need to implement it, because it's not something that you're going to do last minute. It's not something that can be done after the fact. And that's what's happening. A lot of you are doing everything completely after the fact, and you're looking at that tax bill, or you're looking at your refund, or you're looking at your situation, you're confused. Don't be confused anymore. Please share this replay, or please share the video with somebody else. And then last but not least, many of you think the tax system is a game until you get that big bill, or you forget and you make all the money and you forget about taxes, or you forget and you've heard so many scams and so much this, you know you're going to owe a lot of money, so you fall into the trap of somebody that's going to take advantage of you. Oh, thank you, Antoinette. I really appreciate you, love, for coming and being in. So somebody end up taking advantage of you and so forth because they know that you're desperate and that they can do any type of trick to reduce whatever you owe. You're willing to fall the bait, guys. That is not how you operate a business, and that is not how you operate a business that you want to be successful in. And I was watching the Power Players with Greg Cardone and Mr. I cannot pronounce his last name. I can't even think off the top of my head, guys. But he basically said that if you want to have a lasting business, you have to operate your business in integrity. So that's also when it comes down to taxes too, guys. You do not want it when you get to that point where you're making a lot of money and then you're blasted off, because tax court proceedings are not private. They will actually be on public domain, and us professionals know how to search it and see it. We'll see your situation and everything. So guys, I'm Folasade, the accountant to entrepreneurs. I hope that you are no longer confused about this tax stuff, guys. I hope that I was able to leave you a bit knowledgeable, more knowledgeable than what you did when you came on this live stream. And if I did, please share the video with somebody else that you know of, guys, okay? So if you're interested in getting more tax advice, I will be taking on a little bit more tax clients this year, but not giving advice until after tax season, because, you know, it's a little bit more involved, probably have to do some research and so forth. But get on my calendar, bit.ly/quick tax chat. And to all my lovely clients, I'm off, so you can call me now. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Bye, y'all.